Hey everybody, there's a little glimpse of what's going on in the background. There's my musicians. But this video is actually about reading, and I know you may be nervous if you're brand new to reading, and that first song can be kind of challenging. So I wanted to make a little study guide to help you kind of come to grips with that stuff in the beginning. So I made it nice and big, and I would just think of this as a supplemental book or like an addendum or an update to what was already made. So these will just be it'll look very similar, but it's concise little study guide. So I know some people needed this. Here's all the notes you're going to be playing in the beginning. And we can see middle C appears in the treble clef and the bass clef, okay? And I've highlighted all the notes I use to help me read. So the first thing you want to remember, there's lines and spaces, right? So you're going to have to kind of pay attention to which one you're on when you're playing. The C's, we have middle C in red from above or from below. We have treble C sitting on the treble clef, and we have high C on the second ledger line. Just draw ledger lines when you need them. As you can see, we don't need an extra line, right, above the C or below this low C right here. So only draw the ones you need. Never squish them like a sandwich. So if it was on the space right here, like if I didn't draw D, I wouldn't need to draw this line for F. But if I drew E, I would need to draw the line. So only draw the ones you need. On the bass clef, we have middle C as well. We have bass C on the second space, and we have low C on the second ledger line below. Remember, F clef can be called bass clef, and G clef can be called treble clef. So that's why we have the G line right there, and we have the F line right there. That's really all you need. Any note is a location point if you use it to help you locate other notes, right? So anywhere is fine. You may know the acronym. Notice how I'm not worrying about the acronyms, right? Every good boy does fine. Face. Good boys do fine always. All cows eat grass. What no one ever notices, two things, because I just happen to notice one of them right now. When you do a space set or a line set like FACE for face, there's a couple things I want to draw your attention to. The thing I just noticed right now is when you get to the end of the first acronym, FACE, E, that takes you to the beginning of the next acronym, Every Good Boy Does Fine, which takes you back to FACE, FACE. How interesting is that? Really, I've never considered it like that till just now, so it's really cool. I love learning with you guys as I make these. The next thing I try to draw attention to, this thing I have thought about before, we have face here, and then down on the bass clef we have all cows eat grass on the spaces. Well, all cows eat farm. There's F right there, right? FACE, ACE, FACE. All cows eat grass. Up here it seems too, right? So the acronyms are great if you want to think in acronyms all the time, but what I want you to see is how they really are truly connected. When I got to one, it brought me to the next one. The same thing is going to happen down here. ACEG. Good boys do fine always. ACEG. GBDFA. AAGG. You see what I mean? You're going to have notes you get good at and notes that give you trouble. So just use the ones you're good at to help you find everything else. That's about it for the thinking about notes. It's all the same game. FAC, FAC, DFA, DFA, CEG, CEG. They're just slightly modified where they start. So consider these hotspots right here, these location points. These are the ones I think of a lot. This is pretty standard for musicianship. G clef is friendly, F clef is friendly, and the C's are your friends. For guitar players, sorry about that. Let me do the whole thing again, zoomed in. There we go. For us guitar players, if you truly want to read, it is a hard process, like any worthy endeavor down here. But this is the major scale. And the way, I'm not very good at this on guitar. I like tab just like everybody else. I still have a long way to go, right? Still a student too, right? The way I got started was in just a real simple book. And they taught me about 3 notes per string. So I started thinking like that. And I highlighted where the string changes are for you. E, A, D, G, B, E. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. If you truly want to read, though, the tab will be gone. So it is it's a fun little challenge to learn how to do. It's as hard as you would think at guitar is, plus the hardness of reading, right? But like I said, reading isn't hard to begin with. You just need location points. So pick a few you like. And let's get to intervals. Just a quick crash course on intervals. We have a single, a 1, right? So I have middle C here and bass C. Oh, let's get our instruments. There we go. So there's my middle C. There's my bass C. And I came up with some little ideas to help you remember what they look like. And I've never actually thought of them like this until today. I've thought of the snowman, but not these other ones I made up for us. So like I said, I'm learning with you. Intervals, single, just a 1. Any note is a 1. Seconds are like squished together, and they look like a little cherry sticker or a little cherry tattoo, right? Just the 2 cherries together. That's what I think of that one. You can see that on my staff to the left too. It's called a major second, by the way, or a second. That must mean that's a minor second, right? Flat second. Thirds are my favorite. Music is all about thirds, guys. Right? It's a third and a second. It's a perfect riff to teach you those 2, right? Down a third, up a second. So we have the snowman's body, right? You have the bottom, the base, his legs, and then you have the body right on top. Already we're seeing that seconds are shifted to the left a little bit like that, so they can fit, and a third stacks nicely. So let's just get this right here before we keep going. Even intervals, these blue guys, will look different to each other, right? Line space, space line, line space, space line, space line, line space. So to me, the even intervals are slightly more challenging because they look a little different. Whereas the odd intervals, single counts technically, thirds, fifths, and sevens, and anything above that, nines, they will look similar because they go line, line, space, space, that kind of stuff. Line, line, space, space. So I like odd ones better, and I like snowmen. Here we have a 4th, and this is a new idea that I think really helps. Originally, I had an angry face for the 4 because it's the one I miss the most. It's a tough one. It's really no different, is it? But this time I noticed that the 4th is the first one that doesn't make contact with itself. So it's almost like you're cracking the door open, starting to open up that interval a little bit. It's the first one you can see some space in between. So I found that kind of interesting. The 5th is strong like the buildings on a wall. And it is the wall of the chords, if you think about it. It's the outer shell of all triads. perfect. It has very good harmony too when you hear it. Very strong harmony. And that is the snowman's head. I didn't want to confuse you, but if you have the third here as well, it would look like a snowman, right? Something like right there. Snowman shape. So we've got twos or seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths. Well, the six, which if you think about it, it's just a third really, right? The six is a open door. We're starting to see a more open interval now, right? So we took that cracked door and we opened it past the fifth all the way up to a six, which is really, see, just a third. Pretty cool, right? So open door. And then for sevens, I'd say they're not quite that octave, but they look similar, right? So similar sevens. Very pretty sound. So a little less than an octave, and they always line up real nice. And they're the top of a 7 chord. So similar looking sevens, and then finally our octave. Well, an octave is an 8, and an 8 is an infinity sign standing up, right? Well, that's interesting because when we get to the octave, we're back where we started, another cycle through the process, right? Which really just means we're in a new floor of music. We can just play in a different octave now, the same ideas. So that's those. Let's get this rolling. Okay, here is how you start learning how to read. I highlighted all the notes for you. You have to think about the distance and what they look like when we're moving. So it looks like we need our middle C, our treble C. We've got that G that's useful. We've got that F that's useful. And we've got that bass C that's useful. So try playing just one hand at a time. C to D to E to F. Then treble C. Down to B, down to A, down a second. G to D. What's a fourth? D to E, up a second to G. Oh, G to D this way. Seems to be a 5. D to C to B to A. So I would play that until it's easy and it makes sense. The next one's the same. Just going to start on bass C. So that's our little run. And I mean, look at that. I tried to cover most of the clef for you, right? We got the basement that goes deeper. We got the roof that goes a little higher. Identifying the motion of intervals is the key to reading. You don't have to read every letter. You have to think about the intervals. That's the only way to read fast. You can work on these skills independently. You don't have to attach all the rhythms instantly. That's why I took away the stems and the beams, so you could just focus on the harmonic content and the measurements of the interval, right? So C to E to G, that's 2/3, or maybe just 1/5 to you, who knows? Makes a chord. We do it up here. So when they stack up, we get a chord, right? They just go together. You play them at the same time. There's our high C. Let's take it down. Make sure to cross over on E. 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it over. 3, 2, 1. Middle C, left hand. Down, down, down. 1, 2, 3. Under. Down, 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 down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got our low C chord. We've got that bass C chord right here. You'll learn to appreciate the snowman shape. It's a very common and easy shape to identify. What I missed. All right, let's get this one wrapped up. There's another set of scales you should play, and then your homework is pretty simple. Just go ahead and use all those previous pages to help you with reading by yourself. Everything's quarter notes. I kept it really simple. And let's see, I'll do a few with you. Focus on reading the notes and reading the rhythm. It's just quarter notes, so it's one rhythm. That's it. Just one type of rhythm. Play each measure one hand at a time. Some tabs have been removed, guitar players. That's so you can actually think. So far, you haven't read anything, right? You've just been relying on my tabs. So see if you can figure out what's missing. You got to use your fretboard knowledge. My guitar's not here right now, unfortunately. Let's see. All right. So I got a middle C. I go up a third. It gives me an E. Go up another third. Gives me a G. And then from here to here, see, that's what I'm looking at, guys. I'm looking at these little measurements. That looks like a fourth to me. Oh, G, A, B, C. That's a fourth. Perfect. If you're flying through, you might just go back down, right? That's not right, though. I changed the notes to mess with you. Looks like the C is still there, so we'll just play again. Down a third. Brings me to A. Down a third. Brings me to F. And then down a fourth. Brings me to C. You see how I'm trusting the piano? I'm trusting my hands. I'm trusting my knowledge. I'm trusting the page. As long as it's written correct and I play it correct, I'll get the song out of it. It's all about the interval. This is just here so you can start to think about what these notes really are, but you're not going to see letters like that, so you have to have a better strategy than figuring out each one. I'm not going to go C, E, E, G, E, G. I'm going to say, hey, that's one shape, and it looks like it has moved up a third together, and then it looks like it comes back down. So it's crazy because you look at the space in between the notes, believe it or not, to like help you with that stuff. And then here I see a identical pattern, and it looks like the game has moved to spaces now, which is really just up a second from where I was. We got 2 minutes. So yeah, play each one of those one-handed at a time. Go back for a challenge. Try to play all of them. This is a fun one. Left hand, middle C. Line, space, line, space. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, B, A, G. Well, this is the F line, and I'm above it. I got a G. Nice. Now think in thirds, and you'll get there twice as fast. You don't have to go space, line, space, line, space. You go down a space, down a space. What do I got? Looks like a fifth. G to C. So C, G, C, up a fourth. Gives me an F. Da, 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 da. Once I've processed it, that's the only time I can begin to practice it is now that I understand what I'm supposed to do. If you're getting everything wrong, you're not practicing. You have to try before you can practice, okay? And then you have to maintain that diligence of your practice so it's always going up. It can't get worse if you practice, right? If you do, show me how, because I would need to help you. C, G, C, F. A fourth, a fifth, a fourth. And then lastly, it looks like you have a beautiful stack of chords. So we have the triad in here. Thinking in our little groups of 3. There's one, there's one. And then it looks like another third on top. I think I said earlier that That should give you 7 chords, right? Can't sight read, guys, everything yet. You have to learn how to actually read and how to work on this stuff. Then sight reading is for very upper level people, right? People that have mastered it. I have trouble sight reading stuff still. It takes me a little bit as well. Don't jump into songs you don't think you can play yet. Start with these simple exercises, but most importantly, think about music, okay? It's not just this extracurricular chore that you have to do once a week. It's something you need to be pondering consistently throughout the day if you want real success. And you can hear music anywhere. Sing a song in your head, turn the radio on, whatever, listen to the birds. There's always something to consider harmonically in life. That looks like it. That's it for now, guys. So good luck. We're a little bit over. Hope that helps. And yeah, just take it one hand at a time. And I would leave this on your piano or near your guitar case just as a reference, right? Just to get your bearings with reading. This specifically. I mean, this is really I always try to put the important part at the top. This is the good stuff. This is also the good stuff. Everything else is you. That's all practice. Be able to play this in class. Try it as many times as you need. I hope you find success. Think about the music. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.